7 p.m. Tuesday, October 11, 2016. I'll call the regular meeting of the Common Council to order. Please rise for the pledge. Leading us today in the pledge is Brandon Weiss of the 4-H Hair Raisers Club and his brother Jonathan Weiss of Troop 68. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Great job. And another fill-in on his second go-around. Matt Conklin is here for his brother, Mike, for the youth report. Matt?
Good evening. At the high school, PSAT exam registration is now available in guidance. The exam will be given during school hours, Wednesday, October 19th. Congrats to the juniors for winning Spirit Week. Girls Varsity Soccer Senior Night is tomorrow night at 4:15 on Gwinnett Field with Miss Cassera as honorary coach. Varsity football's last home game this season is Friday at 7 against Monticello, and this is also their senior night. At the middle school, there is a PTA meeting on October 17th at 7 p.m. At the elementary schools, the students in Mrs. Patterson's class read the story Stephanie's Ponytail by Robert Manouche. The students then wrote a letter to Robert Manouche expressing their love for the book and the life lessons it taught them. Thursday, October 20th, there is an ASK PTA meeting, 7 p.m. in the ASK library. HBE PTA invited famous author Alan Lewis to come share his book, I Grew Up on a Farm. Mr. Lewis got his start here at HBE 10 years ago. He was excited to come back to the school and spend time and his book with kindergarten students. The next meeting of the Board of Education is Tuesday, October 18th, 2016, 7 p.m. Meeting to be held in the cafeteria of the high school. At the Rec Center, join the Rec Department on Sunday, October 23rd, 2016, as we travel to the Meadowlands and watch the New York Jets take on the Baltimore Ravens in NFL action. Cost per person is $90 and includes game ticket and transportation. For more information, visit the Rec Center. The 70th Annual Halloween Parade will be held on Saturday, October 30th, 2016. The parade lineup will be on Hammond Street in front of the City Hall at 3 p.m., with the parade to start at 3:30. Apple cider and donuts will be served at the conclusion of the parade at Farnham Park. Thank you.
Excellent job. Thank you, sir. We do not have a senior or veterans report, so we move right into no public hearing, no presentations, to public comment. Anybody that would like to speak from the public, please come up, state your name and where you live, and you have a 5-minute limit. Not hearing any, I'll move for an approval of the minutes of the September 29th.
So moved.
29th. Mr. Belcher, and a second by Mr. Bavozo. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. Committee reports, Finance and Insurance. Ms. Trovey.
Thank you. The Finance Committee has not met since their last council meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 19th at 6:45 p.m. here in the council chambers. But we do have some bills to pay. From the general fund, $239,161.42. From the water fund, $37,175.33. From the capital fund, $18,970.70 for a total of $295,307.45. Some of the larger bills under the general and water funds. New York State Employees Health Insurance for September coverage is $196,547.56. Direct Energy August usage is $8,343.68. Global Montello Group for gasoline, $7,540.91. And from the Capital Fund, card member services, signs, $6,692.69. Recreation, engineering, and planning for engineering services, $11,586.50. And I have to make a motion to pay the bills. Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Trovey, a second by Ms. Randazzo. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, we also received a resolution, and I will read it because I'm not sure if everyone was able to check their email before tonight's meeting. This is the resolution for county taxation exemption. Whereas the city of Port Jervis is presently exempt from county taxes on its watershed property located in the town of Deer Park, and whereas these lands are devoted solely to the public use as part of said city of Port Jervis water supply system, and whereas under section 406-3 of the real property law, the city of Port Jervis can request that the real property listed on Schedule A and located in the town of Deer Park be exempt from these taxes. And therefore, be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis requests the County Executive of Orange County enter into an agreement with said City of Port Jervis to exempt this real property located in the town of Deer Park from county taxes for the year 2018. I'd like to make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Trovey, a second by Mr. Bovoso. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire Emergency Management, Mr. Siegel, you ready?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I'm late.
Okay.
Long day. Okay. We have some correspondence from the Department Secretary. I'm sorry. Honorable Mayor Kelly B. Decker, members of City Council, appointment to the Fire Police Jessica J. Furman is hereby requested. The below-named firefighter, as a member of the company stated, be approved for appointment to the Port Jervis Fire Police, Jessica J. Furman, Delaware Engine Company Number 2. This request was approved by the Board of Officers on 10/3/2016. Make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Siegel, second by Mr. Belcher. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you. And next one is Mayor Decker, members of City Council, is hereby requested that Excelsior Engine Company Number 5 be approved to attend the following event with their apparatus: a wet down in Mechanicstown, Middletown Fire District on 10/22/2016. This request was approved by the Board of Officers on 10/3/2016 as well. I make a motion that we approve that one too.
Motion by Mr. Siegel,
Second.
second by Mr. Bovoso. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you. Dear Mayor Decker and members of City Council, the Port Jervis Fire Department proudly has serving within its ranks 181 dedicated members, approximately 54% of our membership, who will be celebrating 25 years or more of service in 2016. 16 members celebrating their anniversary in October, and the respective companies are Neversink Engine Company Number 1, George A. Belcher Jr. with 29 years, George A. Belcher with 44 years, Peter N. Cole with 44 years, Gary Morgan with 45 years. Delaware Engine Company Number 2, Francis J. Red Clune with 58 years, Robert Murray Jr. with 31 years, Pat Trotta Jr. with 63 years. Valley Rescue and Salvage Number 3, Donald Clune with 52 years, and Michael Nason Jr. with 47 years. Howard Wheat Engine Company Number 4, Charles Baumgartner with 64 years, Stanley Siegel with 51 years, and William Van Horn with 42 years. Excelsior Engine Company Number 5, Robert E. Thompson with 45 years. Mahakama Cook and Ladder Number 1, Rocco G. Vanelio with 42 years, Gary Lapiori with 48 years, Ronald Van Aken with 50 years. And I make a motion, we put that in the record and thank them for their years of service.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Siegel, second by Mr. Bovoso to thank them for their years of service. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, thank you very much. And as many people know, we were called out to a fire this morning at 5:20 a.m. at 184 to 192 Pike Street, which quickly became a 3-alarm fire. Fortunately, all the residents were evacuated and there were no injuries. Many of our firefighters were there for 12 hours or more, some of which are still there now. And I'd like to thank them and the other companies they came in on mutual aid. I'd like to make a personal thanks to the Spurbush Fire Police for coming to assist us since our manpower was so low. their help was definitely needed. I'd like to thank the Salvation Army captain for bringing the canteen with coffee and other goodies. It was pretty cold in the early morning hours. It was good to have the coffee. And the Royce for breakfast, and the Port Jervis Pizza for providing pizza throughout the day, and Price Chopper for cases of water and large subs for dinner. And anyone else, and there were several civilians that helped out too, anybody else that I might not have known about. It's great to live in a small community where people come out to help us when there's a need. So people can say what they want to say about Port Jervis, but there are plenty of people in Port Jervis that are there for us when we need them. Next meeting is Monday, October 17th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. And watch our Facebook page, Port Jervis Fire Department, and our webpage, pjnyfd.com, for more information about Port Jervis Fire Department. And Pike Street will be closed between Ball Street and Kingston Avenue during demolition, which will continue, I guess, through
Ball Street and East Main Street.
Oh, what did I say, Kingston Avenue? Yeah, Ball
They
Street.
don't meet, but
And East Main Street. It's been a long day. So thanks to everybody for cooperating with us there. And that's all I have. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Siegel. Code and Legislative, Mr. Pavoza.
Thank you, Mayor. The Code Committee last met on October 5th. Of the biggest portion of the discussion went toward the potential homestead program for the city of Port Jervis. The committee at that time decided that instead of moving forward with a local law, we would use the application, which we could adopt by resolution potentially. I had to make a couple changes to the application. I sent that to the entirety of the council this morning, and then I also provided hard copies here this evening. Knowing that it was a short notice and that it was only received today, I ask that the council really take a look at the application, be ready to discuss it at our next meeting in 2 weeks, in the hope that we can adopt the program and start moving with selling a number of these city-owned residences. There were a couple other items discussed. Among them was the potential for a local law or some other program that would allow the building inspector to inspect apartments upon changes in tenancy, which is certainly a concern within the city at this time. The next Code Committee meeting will be held at 7 o'clock here in the council chambers on Wednesday, November 2nd. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Public Works Environmental Affairs, Mr. Belcher.
Thank you, Mayor. Garbage and recycling this week is one day late in all of our wards because of Columbus Day. The second ward, papers and cardboard, will be picked up on Friday the 14th of October. There will be normal schedule for the next 2 weeks. Backyard debris and tied up brush will continue to be picked up on the same day as your paper pickup and on Fridays. Be advised that your yard debris can be put in cans that are 35 gallons or less. Please be advised that the City Council is putting into effect a voluntary water restriction in the city of Port Jervis due to the low levels of the reservoirs and the severe lack of rain. We are hoping for full compliance on this voluntary restriction, or a mandatory restriction will follow. Next DPW meeting will take place on November 7th, 2016 at 6 p.m. here in the council chamber. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Police Committee, Mr. Foster.
Police Committee has not met yet. Our next scheduled meeting will be on October 18th, 7 p.m. here in the Mayor's office. But I would like to adopt the resolution of the Common Council, City of Port Jervis, regarding a Halloween curfew. And it says, whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized that in the interest of public safety, the Common Council hereby enacts a Halloween curfew to begin the evening of October 19th, 2016, and run through November 9th, 2016, for all individuals under the age of 17 years. The curfew shall prohibit individuals under the age of 17 years from being out on city streets and sidewalks between the hours of 9 p.m. through 6 a.m. Each evening, unless accompanied by a parent or guardian and/or walking to or from a bona fide educational, religious, or city-sponsored activity. And I make that a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foster, second by Mr. Bovoso. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Liaison, CDA, Ms. Trovey?
Thank you. The CDA last met on September 28th. George Belcher was sworn in, so welcome, George. We went over the financials, and everything is on or close to budget. And we also discussed the recent financially stressed designation that the city received last month. We went over current status of grants, those received and in progress, and I would like to set some public hearings for 2 grants. The CDBG grants for the Jersey Avenue and Micro Enterprise require an additional public hearing before contract completion. These contracts are coming due in November and December, and we are pursuing extensions. Therefore, I would like to set public hearing for October 24th council meeting for the Jersey Avenue Sewer Grant, New York State Homes and Community Renewal CDBG project number 938PR42-14. And that would be for the council meeting on October 24th.
Second.
I have a motion to set a public hearing for the CDBG Jersey Avenue. I have a motion by Ms. Trovey, a second by Mr. Bovoso. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, I'd also like to make another motion to set a public hearing, again, for the October 24th council meeting. This is for the Micro Enterprise Grant, New York State Homes and Community Renewal CDBG project number 938CRF-ME827-14.
I have a motion by, Ms. Trovey. My allergies are killing me today. It's second by Mr. Bovoso. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I'd also like to remind everyone of the first-time homebuyers information session that is scheduled for October 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. It's sponsored by the CDA, and Pastone will be doing the presentation. That will be on the second floor of the Youth Center at 134 Pike Street. And the next CDA meeting will be Wednesday, October 26th at 7 p.m. on the second floor of the Youth Center. Thank you.
Thank you. IDA, Mr. Randazzo.
The IGA committee has not met since the last council meeting. However, our next meeting is Wednesday, October 19th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers.
ADA, Mr. Foster.
We have not met yet, but our next meeting is scheduled for December 5th, 6:30, right after the DPW meeting here in the council chambers. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Housing Authority, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mayor. The last Housing Authority meeting was September the 27th. The next meeting is October the 25th at 7 p.m. at Hillside Terrace. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Recreation Commission, Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mayor. On October 1st, 2016, the Army Mountain Classic mountain bike races were held at the Watershed Park and Trails. What a great day as student athletes, close to 100 from Northeastern, UConn, MIT, RIT, Penn State, Drexel, RPI, University of Vermont, Navy, Harris Point, took to the new trails and competed in cross-country 6.3 miles race and short track 0.5 miles races all day long. Intense riding and great sportsmanship was on display all day. Thanks to West Point for hosting the race and to our very dedicated watershed maintenance crew for getting the courses ready. If you haven't yet, get out and hike and bike the trails. Trail maps will be available at the Youth Center on Pike Street and the City Clerk's office at the City Hall on Hammond Street by Friday, October 14th. Also, this is the best time of the year to hike or bike. Leaves are changing color, the weather is cool, and the trails are peaceful. If you haven't yet, get up and explore the trail system. For individuals that want to take a leisurely walk to a more physical hike to a challenging bike ride, the trail system is for everyone. Parking now available at Reservoir Number 1 on Skyline and Reservoir Trails, Point Peter, Skyline and Broken Ties Trails, and Boxbaum Road, Boxbaum and Waltz Keep Trails. Remember, pack in and pack out, leave only footprints and tire treads. Upcoming recreation-sponsored events on October 22nd, the Will of Orange Trail Run at the Watershed Park and Trails. On October 23rd, the New York Jet Game. Only 4 tickets are left. Please contact the Recreation Office as soon as possible if you're interested. Also on October 29th, the Erie 80 Mountain Bike Race at the Watershed Park and Trails. And October 30th, the 70th Annual Halloween Parade at City Hall at 3 p.m. The next Recreation Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 19th at 7:15 at the Youth Center on High Street. That's all I have, Minister.
Excellent, thank you. Tourism, Mr. Belcher.
Thank you, Mayor. Tourism Board hasn't met since our last meeting. We're due to meet tomorrow night, 6:30, here in the Mayor's office, the Council Conference Room. I'd like to remind everybody, though, about the Tourism Board Halloween lighting contest. 2 categories, there'll be traditional or scary. To register your home within the city of Fort Jervis, email pjtourismboard@gmail.com or call 845-858-4017 and leave the following information: name, address, phone number, and category that you want to be judged for. Entries are due by Wednesday, October 19th at 5 p.m. There's no cost to enter. Judging will be done on Thursday, October 20th, after sunset. Winners will be announced at the City Council meeting on Monday, October 24th, 2016. First, second, and third place winners will receive a certificate of recognition as well as the following prizes. First place, $25 gift card, JJ International Delicatessen. Second place, $15 gift card, Pointed Hat. And third place, $10 gift card to the Pointed Hat. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Excellent, thank you, sir. Zoning Board, Mr. Randazzo.
There was no October meeting held. The November meeting will be November 1st at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers.
Thank you. Planning Board?
Planning Board, the next meeting is on Tuesday, October 18th at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. And hopefully we'll have a meeting, and I believe we're also in search of a secretary.
We are in search of a secretary. If anybody's interested in that position, I'm not sure what it pays offhand, but just contact my office at 845-858-4017 if they're interested in, sometimes the meetings are pretty short and sometimes they're pretty long, but I think it's a base pay. You probably can contact the clerk's office and they'll let you know how much it is. $100 per meeting, and you have to take minutes, and the minutes have to go out, and also you keep email contact with the planning board members to let them know when you do the agenda for the meeting. So, thank you. That's it?
That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Plumbing Board and Electrical Board, Mr. Pavozo.
Thank you, Mayor. The Plumbing Board has not yet met this year. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for November 2nd at 6:30 here in the council chambers. The Electrical Board did meet on the 5th of October. A number of applications were considered. Most of them were sent back to obtain further information from the applicants. However, one was set up for a test, and it's my understanding that the test was taken today and the individual passed, so it looks like another license will be going out. The next meeting of the Electrical Board is tentatively scheduled for November 2nd at 6:45 p.m. here in the council chambers. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Senior Advisory, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mayor. I met with the senior housing representatives and residents during the month, and there's nothing to report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Access 23 report, Mr. Belcher.
No report. Just like to thank Marty Griffon for being here tonight to operate the camera. Doing a great job. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, sir. Okay, under Mayor's Correspondence and Information Update, I do want to mention that this past weekend was a pretty cool time. I think almost everybody from the council was able to go to the farmers market breakfast. We all went at different times, so we didn't violate any meeting laws or anything like that. But I just want to mention to about a few people. Obviously, Sarah Worthy, who runs the market, did a fantastic job. Valerie, I want to thank you for being involved. Billy Smith from Smith Party Tents and Family Events, Foundry 42, and Cooper Boone did a wonderful job, as well as Bistro Time, who provided for the food. And of course, Cooper also did entertainment, and it was just absolutely fantastic. I said my father would have loved the fiddle playing towards later on in the morning. So it was definitely a great time, and they're going to look again to do it maybe once or even twice next year. So it really was a great thing. Looks like I have a huge pile here, but I'll go through it fairly quickly. Mr. Belcher spoke about the voluntary water restrictions for the city. We are implementing voluntary water restrictions. They mean refrain from watering your lawns. Please take shorter showers. Shut off water when you're brushing your teeth. Don't let it run. Shut off water while shaving. Refrain from washing your cars in driveways. You can wash them at the car washes as that water is recycled. And fix all dripping faucets and leaky toilets. Just those 6 things will help retain the waters that we have in our reservoirs. They are about 50% now. Just to clarify, if you're walking the watershed trails and you see the lower reservoir towards the water plant looks like it's full, that is because what we do is we drain from 2 and 3. They come down into 1, and 1 is always maintained at a full capacity. But if you get up into the watershed trails and you see 2 and 3, you're going to see how they're very much depleted, each down to about 30 or less percent. So please try to refrain until we get a good, decent, long rainfall. If we get a storm that drops 10 inches of rain, it does not correct the problem. We need several days of rain in order to correct this problem. So we're asking for a voluntary water restriction in the city, and therefore we wouldn't have to go into the mandatory restrictions. Thank you. As many of you know today, and Mr. Siegel mentioned this, there was the devastating fire at the top of Pike Street. It included 186 and 188, 190, 192, 2 separate buildings. 1 business that was affected, Flora Laura, and Laura Meyer and Mike come here all the time. She's very heavily involved with our tourism board. It was a devastating loss to her business, as she lost everything that was in there, and a lot of mementos. She understands the fact that, you know, there was no loss of life, there was no injury, which is absolutely great. But when you've spent your hard-earned money and your work and your time in a business that she's created, you know, she talked about how she had Flowgene stuff inside there that's irreplaceable, that will never come back. But she will be rebuilding. She will start over. Fortunately, none of the tenants upstairs of 186, 184, 186 were injured. But what we did do is the city council, on bequest of our building official and our city engineer, after inspecting both buildings, I called an emergency council meeting today at 3 p.m. where we were given the information that we needed to have the knowledge to make a decision to move forward, and the decision was on the council members that were there unanimously to tear down both buildings, which is currently being done at this time. We can look at this as a devastating effect today, but tomorrow can be a new hope that somebody may step up and say there's a large piece of property in a downtown business district that could use, that has very viable businesses around it. If you look at the